Okay, I guess we're gonna start at 7:01. This will also be recorded after, so everybody will have the opportunity to watch it later. All right, so let me just introduce myself. My name is Abie Masuro. I am the owner of the Camu shop. Camu Health is my new business right now. Thanks everybody for joining and watching. I decided to do this live because it's very important to me, and I wanted to discuss what the goal of the Camu Health is. So thanks everybody for joining. This interview is very special because I have a very special friend. How's that? Is that better? Is it too loud? Move back. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay, good. I have a very special guest today, so it's a very special live event. And before I introduce our special guest, I do want to mention that we are going to be talking about Reiki. I do want to talk about Reiki because there has been a lot of questions about what is Reiki, what does it do, and what kind of energy modality healing it is. So before we go ahead and invite Sabrina Hall in this live, I do want to mention that I know I've been doing a lot of research with Reiki. I did find an interesting evidence-based research that was done back in 2017 to show the effectiveness of Reiki. There's a clinical trial that was done in Australia by Dr. David E. McManus, and they did a peer review as well. So that was very good. In the study, they found that Reiki activated the parasympathetic nervous system, and it had the potential to manage chronic health conditions and post-op recovery. So in Australia, actually, they have started using Reiki as an adjunct therapy in hospitals, cancer support centers, drug and alcohol rehab centers, as well as palliative care. So that is in conjunction with the therapy that they are giving the patients. In that study, they've also seen reduction in stress and anxiety, and it changed the perception of patients' pain. So it promoted a feeling of psychospiritual well-being as well. I will be putting the link either after this live, or I can send direct link if anyone's interested with that study. Okay, without further ado, I will now invite Miss Sabrina Hall. Just one moment.
Hey.
Hi. Did you
How
see
are
my
you?
fancy mic? I am
Nice.
good. How
Good.
are you?
Very good.
Very, very
Yeah, we
good.
have a lovely, gorgeous, and sunny day here in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island.
Love BC. I'm so
Yes.
happy for your move.
Thank you.
I do want to, before I ask you a bunch of questions,
Mhm.
I just want to introduce my special guest today. Miss Sabrina Hall is a Reiki Master and a Reiki teacher, a developer of a personal ascension coaching program, a certified aromatherapist, and an advocate for the Healy frequency therapy as well. She also has her Master of Science in Biology, a mother, a wife, and a light worker, and a great friend of mine. Let's welcome Sabrina Hall.
Thank you.
I hope that was
Thank you. Thank
okay.
you. Nice.
Thank you for
We
joining me.
Absolutely. I want to stop you first before we get into questions because
Yeah.
I interrupted you with the mic stuff
Oh.
when you were going to introduce Camu Health, and I want to hear about that.
Oh, okay. I can circle back.
Yeah.
Camu Health is a I started Camo Health just right after Camo Shop. Um, Initially, what I wanted to do with Camo Shop is to sell bracelets, gemstone bracelets.
Mhm.
And I knew that I always wanted wellness. I always wanted to have a business surrounding wellness, and I didn't know quite where to start. So I did start Camo Shop, and then from there, I met you, and it
Yeah.
gave me this idea, like there's this whole range of array of energetic healing and
Mhm.
holistic wellness. So when I heard about Reiki, I was like, oh, this sounds very good and very, um, like, in a sense, very relaxing for a lot of clients. So I wanted something meditative, reflective. So then Camo Shop became Camo Health because I wanted to be a practitioner.
So,
And now my goal is not just to produce products, but to also be a practitioner in holistic wellness. So that's what Camo Health is.
excellent.
Hoping that in the future I will do more podcasts and have more guests in the holistic wellness realm. So everybody can have, information about holistic wellness basically.
Excellent.
So
Awesome.
I kind of know where Camo Health is going.
Hmm.
I think I have an idea, but the sky's the limit. I feel so.
Absolutely. Doors open, right? And you just have to take the step through them. Yes.
Exactly,
No,
exactly. So shall we start with the questions?
for sure.
Okay, so my first question is, how did you find Reiki and what led you to practice it?
Okay. So my journey with Reiki was, and I like to say that Reiki found me because I very much believe that when you're ready for something to enter your life, it presents itself. And So I used to work at Royal Botanical Gardens, and I was pretty A type. I was like very high strung and really um, kind of digging myself into that stress hole, giving away too much of myself all of the time.
Mhm.
And my husband and I have always loved traveling and adventuring. So we decided to go away on a year-long adventure camping trip with our kids at that time. And at that for that whole year, I just allowed my mind to just wander and go everywhere, right? I was like, what do I want to do with my life now that I'm all grown up?
Right.
So we came back, and I didn't last long at my old job before I resigned. And then I first started by taking aromatherapy. And through that course, I met my Reiki master. And her name is Maria Fiordalisi, and she practices in Oakville, Ontario. And we were trading back and forth with massage and reflexology and stuff. And I was going for my regularly scheduled reflexology visit. But on the drive there, I was like, hmm. So as soon as I walked in the door, I was like, Maria, can we do Reiki today instead of
Oh,
reflexology? And
interesting.
she literally jumped up and down, clapping her hands, and was like, yes, I've been waiting for you to ask.
Yeah.
And Reiki very much is when the student is ready, the teacher presents. And that was the case, right?
Yeah.
So I had my first Reiki session that day, and I was going through a huge life transition, and so many things lined up in that session that were just like major eye opener things, but also stuff that I can look back on. And I didn't necessarily understand it at that point in time,
Right.
but it meant a lot to me later. So yeah, so it became something that so at that point I had aromatherapy and reflexology. And thinking about Reiki and having just experienced it, I really kind of delved deep, and I had that relationship with Maria to kind of ask her and talk about it all the time with her. So it was only a matter of time before I took my level 1 with her, and I, like everybody always talks about how long do you take in between all the different Reiki levels, and there are so many different opinions. But like I did mine fairly quick succession between level 1 and level 2, and then I left it a while before I did my master teacher
Right.
level,
Did you
just
just
because there's
know
so much at each level.
and you just knew you were ready for the master? How long did it take you from level one to getting your
Um,
master?
I think it was about 9 months, and that's fairly quick. And Maria and I talked about that. So I did my level 1 with Maria, and then I did my level 2 with another good friend of mine, Pam Grace, who, yeah, she's amazing. So I did level 2 with her, but I knew that I was going to go back for my master level with Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought it was a really nice thing to go out into the world for a while and practice, and have a lot of clients. But also, Reiki is a self journey, as
Yes.
you know. It
Yeah.
very much is a journey of self discovery. So I needed to take that time discovering myself on an energetic level, doing a lot of the healing work that comes along with Reiki, and then going to my master level from there.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, could you explain in, I guess, a more, I know that Reiki can be like, if you explain it, it's quite complex for people that are
Mhm.
just getting to know Reiki, do not know Reiki at all. How can
Yeah.
you explain Reiki in a more, what is it? What is it in simpler terms? How can you describe Reiki?
Okay. So the definition of Reiki is, that it's a Japanese energy healing technique that is accomplished by laying on of hands. And it's amazing for stress reduction, elimination of pain, balancing all of our energy meridians and chakras and things like that. But Reiki is so because I work in modalities that really work with the energetic system and structure of the being, our whole being. Reiki is, for me, it's a very it's an energetic experience, obviously, but it's a decongestion and a decluttering of energy that it feels super calm and peaceful for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so hard to describe until you've had it, and I know you
Yes.
have this struggle as well, right? It's energy. Energy is what we are made of,
Right.
and so I very firmly believe that going into the future, so much of our healing work is going to be energy based, as we understand all of the layers of our being that we are. We are a physical body
Correct.
that is made of energy, but it's energy made manifest into physicality
Right.
because of its lower and slower vibration. And that's the same with anything. Everything that we're surrounded by is made of energy. Then we have our emotional and mental
Right.
bodies, that are also made of energy. And we also have our spiritual bodies. So we are this multi layered, like multi-dimensional energetic being.
Multifaceted.
And Reiki is, so in terms of all of the vibrations of energy, if we think about, um, we've got like low vibration stuff that is us in physicality kind of thing. If you go up and up and up in vibration, then you have, pure unconditional love and gratitude, compassion, all of those things up there, right? And Reiki is that high vibration energy as well. So, a Reiki practitioner, what they do through intention, but also through the fact that they have been attuned to that energetic vibration, they actually become a channel for Reiki energy. And that is what the laying on of hands is for people that don't know Reiki or haven't experienced it. So when we're laying hands, a Reiki practitioner is actually channeling this high vibration Reiki energy that they pull in through their crown and through their heart chakra. And then they funnel it through the small chakras in our hands into the person who is receiving Reiki. And you can do Reiki on yourself, and that's what level 1 is all about.
Mhm.
And Reiki is this, yeah, amazing energetic healing and understanding that you give to yourself. And then as Reiki level 2 and onwards, it's that gift of helping people to balance, cleanse, decongest their energetic bodies through Reiki.
Perfect. And I know,
Mhm.
like with chakras, these are energetic fields, right?
Yes. Mhm.
So with Reiki, I understand that if you're not balanced, you have excess of that energy, or there's a block, its goal is to balance it, basically.
Correct. Yes.
Which is really interesting because I never knew that like you can have too much of the chakras, like
Yeah. So,
too
yeah,
much
each of our
energy.
chakras, yes, exactly. So each of our chakras, so starts at the base chakra or root chakra, which we sit on, all the way up to our crown chakra. And then there are chakras beyond that as well.
Right.
But those are our 7 main chakras that are housed within the physical structure of our body. And each one of those has um, a like a perfect frequency that it is supposed to function at. So when that chakra is completely balanced, the root chakra, for example, is like 390 something hertz, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So that frequency is like the perfect balanced vibration for that chakra. And so, like, as you said, you can have huge imbalances where you're either excessively
Yeah.
have it like way too much energy going on in that chakra, or you can be very low in energy in that chakra. And that changes on like an hourly basis, a daily basis, right? It changes based on what we're going through in our lives. And most people tend to have particular chakras that are more balanced than others in their own bodies. So each person has their own unique balance within their own energetic system. And then, yeah, so Reiki, regardless of if you have which type of imbalance you have, it helps to kind of get in there and clear it up. It's like I like to think of Reiki as a tuning fork. So it has its own innate wisdom. It is intelligent. The universe is intelligent.
Yeah.
Energy is intelligent, right? And so when you go in and put your hands over a chakra that's imbalanced, you're pretty much introducing high vibration energy that can sense where that imbalance is. And the tuning fork idea is that you kind of like, boom, hit that chakra with the right
Frequency.
frequency, the right vibration. And it initiates self-healing within your body. And it actually initiates all of those energetic systems to harmonize and to vibrate at the frequency that they're supposed to vibrate at. It's not magic. It doesn't happen like that, right? Which
Right.
is why any of these healing modalities, they require a practice to be made of them, right? Like as a Reiki practitioner, you are using Reiki on yourself and on people all the time, right? And it's the same with me. I'm constantly tuning this process, right? And working with people. So a first Reiki visit for someone is going to feel, it's going to feel very peaceful. It's going to feel calming. It's going to be stress reducing. It also might bring up one or two little things for them, that are things that they need to uncover and start working on. And then the next time they come for a Reiki experience, it will kind of just like slowly start to balance the things that need balancing.
That is amazing. I hope that everybody got that. It is a lot of information,
It is. It
but
is. And because of my science background, and I know some people need that, right?
yeah,
So I've come a long way in terms of, like needing absolute proof on things because
a
I
hundred
was very
percent.
much like a hardcore
Yeah,
science person for a while.
Yeah.
to very much now like trusting in it, but understanding that there is that scientific perspective, right? And there's a way for us to be able to explain what's going on now.
Mhm.
And it's through like quantum physics and
Physics.
things like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah.
100%. So I know
Mhm.
we talked about what do you do during a Reiki session? So that's
Mhm.
the laying of the hands. So we've covered that. And then typically like an hour to, I know some people do like 90 minutes even for
Yeah.
sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the time an hour is sufficient because so the Reiki experience itself, like when you're having a session done for you, the Reiki practitioner moves their hands from, you know, like on the crown chakra, third eye, all around the body and like hovers over some spots, but tries to give a nice treatment along the whole entire body,
Right.
focusing mainly on the chakras, but then there are other areas that really benefit from Reiki as well. Um, and I totally forgot your question.
No, I think you answered it. That was my second question. My
Okay.
third question is which conditions do you think respond to Reiki? Like, is there,
Mm,
like, I know it's an emotional, physical, spiritual healing. What do you
yes.
maybe see the most, and what types of conditions are, would help with Reiki if you do have that type of condition?
Okay. So this is where we get really into the energy stuff. So I very much believe that um, almost every condition, every disease is a function of an imbalance of energy that's stuck in the body. So, as we talked about, everything has its own vibration, and each emotion has its own vibration as well. We have the really high vibrating emotions like love, compassion, kindness, and gratitude. And for the most part, all of us are very good at feeling those things,
Right.
right? And we're never shamed for feeling any of those. But then you have your real low emotions, right? You have fear and greed and anger and rage. You know, you have all of those things that we've very much been conditioned in our society that those aren't okay. They
Right.
are not okay to feel. And we therefore have an entire population of humans that stuffs down their emotions and doesn't allow them to just move through, right? Because it's just emotion, energy in motion. That's all it is. It, and I'm like, no, I'm not downplaying anybody's emotions, right? But we have to get used to feeling these things appropriately, right? So, like, if I'm angry, I'm not going to direct that at people, but I'm going to go and I'm going to feel my anger, right? Like maybe
Right.
I'm going to go into my room and I'm going to punch my pillow
Right.
and get that anger out.
To get it
So,
out. Yeah.
yeah. So, getting back to your question, every, for the most part, almost every single disease has its basis in stuck energy, stuck emotions that we haven't allowed ourselves to feel. And so, I'm going to just give you my own personal example.
Okay.
So, for years now, I've had a lump in my left breast. And I went through the whole process years and years ago of thinking, do I have cancer? Went through all of the tests to find out I have fibrocystic. But, like, what does that mean, really? You know? And lately, I had been doing so well with my health, but then I got to a point only 2 months ago where it flared so badly and I had tons of pain. And like the cystic part was like a rope. It was really hard and terrible. And I went to find the emotional understanding of this disease for me, my personal emotional understanding of it. So, breast tissue is about nurturance. It's the heart chakra, so it's love as well. And the left side of our body is representative of our feminine energy, and our right side is masculine energy. And so, by my left side being impacted, it is me not nurturing myself. I had totally fallen off my self care. And because we were here on Vancouver Island setting up new things. I was just turning into this like give of myself and forgetting to fill my cup all the time. But also my kids are getting bigger and I'm not able to nurture the other people in my life the same way, right? So I had this massive flare up and my body was telling me right away, like, yo, you are totally out of balance here. You are not nurturing anything in your life, least of all yourself. And as soon as I had that recognition, you know, it was self Reiki on myself and do all of the things that I know to care for me. And now I'm kind of like feeling better than I have in a long time, like in years, in terms of fibrocystic breast condition. But that that kind of understanding, I think, is what we need to apply to all of the different diseases and health conditions that people face. You know, like if you have sore knees, you know, like knees represent our willingness to take forward action. You know, like are your knees sore because you repeatedly through your life have never allowed yourself to take that forward action that you want, right? Like are you stuck in your knees? And does that energy really just need to be like released? So getting back to your question of like what kind of things can Reiki help? I believe almost anything.
Yeah.
I think anything really can benefit from a Reiki session. It's really going to be the person allowing for the process. It's the person that like has to surrender. We all need to like fall into trust and surrender with this type of process, that having been there myself and knowing the kind of like mental chatter and stuff that can be constantly going on in your head, it's difficult to consider doing a treatment session where you really have to go into trust mode with somebody, you know, and it's about relaxation. It's about letting yourself go and surrendering to the process. And that can be hard for people. It really can. So
Can you, with the sessions that you've had before, can you kind of share what do clients go through emotionally, or have you seen very strong emotions during Reiki sessions?
yeah, and I don't want to scare anybody off from
Yeah.
this, right? Reiki brings up anything that you're ready to deal with. So it won't ever make you emotional about something that is like over the top, right? Like you won't have a Reiki session and then be like, "Oh my gosh, my life went into a tailspin. I'm so emotional. I can't handle
Yeah.
anything," right? It's more of the you almost subconsciously know what's going to come up, and then when things start to come up after a Reiki session, you're prepared, right? Like your subconscious mind has already kind of said, you know, like, yo,
This
this is
is
a
one of
major thing in your life that you need to deal with, and
yeah.
this is what you're going to start. I like thinking of all of us as onions, right? And like we have all of these layers, and to get into the core of whatever issue it is that you like might be causing a health condition or an emotional thing that you've dealt with for years and years and years, right? To get to the center of that, it's going to take a long time, right? And nothing will happen that you're not ready for. So like your first Reiki session might peel back that layer of first recognizing, oh yeah,
Right.
I have something that I've been ignoring for a really long time that I need to get to, kind of thing. So I have had people have emotional experiences. It's each practitioner creates their own creates their own tribe, creates their own vibration of people that they will then connect with and pull into them. And so you the kind of emotional release that you'll experience with a Reiki practitioner is something that you can handle, and you can trust that person, because a Reiki practitioner that's choosing to practice with people instead of just like using Reiki as a self-healing modality, any practitioner that's ready to share Reiki with somebody is going to be there for you. They're ready for that, and it's it's a very trusting relationship.
Right.
It isn't something that you need to be scared of as a person. So, but yeah, it can bring stuff up. And, typically if you have an hour-long session, you come out of it a little bit groggy, right? And you're kind of like, whoa, coming back into this body, I was having a different experience in there. Some people will see like colors, sweeping through their mind. Some people will hear things or have words pass through their inner eye, and other people will see visions or all sorts of different experiences. And the practitioner is then there to kind of talk you through anything that you want to talk through. It's never a forced, like, oh, what'd you see? What'd you hear? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's more of like well, if you're ready to talk about any of this, you can tell me what you experienced. And I often tell the person that I've just done a session with too, because I usually receive messages in different ways that, like I'll offer, you can hear what I heard
Yeah.
as well. And it typically helps to shed a little bit of light on their experience as well. Just another
Would
layer.
would you say it's a very spiritual practice then?
Um, it is. If it is for many people who choose to go on to be practitioners. Um, and we're the ones that can hold that spiritual aspect for people if they're not comfortable with or don't know what level of spirituality they're at. So for me personally, it is my spiritual practice. It's kind of like Reiki is the backbone of everything that I do. And it's funny because a year and a half ago, my son, who is also Reiki attuned,
Yeah.
he said to me, he's like, Mom, I'm not seeing you use Reiki as much as you used to. Do you still use it? And I was like, every day, all the time, like it's so much all in here, right? It's kind of like I'm constantly, like drawing my symbols and chanting my mantras and,
Right.
like, yeah. And every day, as you know, like one of the foundations of Reiki is the 5 principles that are all about living life in the present moment and bringing everything back to just now.
Right.
And so I think about those all the time. And so we're the ones that can hold that real kind of like spiritual aspect and knowing for people. Because I've had people come to me that are obviously very nervous about having a Reiki experience, and they're they're uncomfortable with the silence of it as well. And
Right.
so I'll kind of now ask people, like, is this your first experience? Are you having like nerves of anticipation? Do you need me to talk with you through this so that you don't feel like you're alone going through this very
Hmm.
silent meditative kind of process?
Silence can be very overwhelming for a lot of
Yeah.
people, and I know that very well.
Yeah.
Um, there is a new healing modality now called somatic release.
Ah, I've
This is
seen videos of it. I haven't tried it. Have you?
no, it looks very crazy though. It looks very way beyond Reiki, where like we talked about how emotions get trapped in our body, and over time, if you can't move on, they will just get stagnant in our body. So I think it's the same principle, but it
It
looks very,
is.
very intense. I just wanted to put
Yeah.
that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what it is, right? Like the
yeah,
somatic release is very much, like say you have something trapped in your shoulder and it's been there for 11 years, it's like that practitioner is literally pulling that congestion out of you. And typically it involves like that emotional massive release of whatever is stuck in there, right? And it's
right.
all in that moment. So, yeah,
It's
Reiki is more like the let's do this a step at a time. And somatic release is like, okay, you ready for this? Boom,
yeah,
it's out. Hmm.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
very intense, very intense.
yes.
Is there anyone you think who should avoid Reiki? Anything that you think it should?
No,
No.
I
Yeah.
it's as far as I've seen and experienced and read, it is complementary to everything. As you were just reading with that study, right? You know, like having this calming, relaxing, beautiful source of energetic healing alongside things like cancer treatment or drug and alcohol addiction and hospital stays and stuff like that. I I have never experienced anything other than it being beneficial.
Yeah.
Um,
There's no
yeah,
side effects.
no,
It's a gentle, light energy. And it's amazing
exactly.
how the Australians are using it now in hospitals
Oh, I know.
as an
Yeah,
adjunct. They're not claiming to, Reiki doesn't fix anything. It's a
no,
complementary therapy. It's an adjunct to an existing therapy that they're currently using. But I'm surprised
exactly.
we haven't really used that in Canada, or it's not well known yet.
No, it isn't well known. And it's interesting because a lot of the kind of different healing modalities, the natural ones, they're very accepted in Australia. There are some like incredible aromatherapists that are in Australia that have been there for, you know, like 30, 40 years, their entire careers. And North America is we're kind of behind, right? In terms of we're a young country, we're a very young culture, right? And so the humans are amazing in our capacity to like learn and to try new things, right? And like but we like to do it ourselves, and so we don't like to recognize that maybe this amazing thing existed in
Right.
the Eastern cultures, right, that might really work for us too. I think we're in a transitionary kind of time where our Western medicine is wonderful for like acute things, right? Like if
Yeah.
I break my leg, I do not want Reiki. Take me to a
Yes, of
hospital and set
course.
that bone and then do Reiki on me,
Right.
right? But in terms of maintaining our health, you know, like you work in the hospital system, we have a very like sick culture. We have medicine that just is dealing with symptoms, right? And Eastern medicine and knowledge from thousands of years ago brings us more of that. Here's how to balance and harmonize your body and all of its symptoms so that hopefully you don't get to the point of disease.
Mhm.
So I hope that we'll see more more Reiki, more reflexology, more aromatherapy into mainstream
Right.
environments. But as you can tell from practices like ours, you know, people are going and seeking that out anyways, right? Because I think a lot of individuals are coming to a recognition and
Yes.
understanding that my health is my responsibility, and maintaining health is so much easier than treating disease. So I think a lot of people like our age and younger are very much like, okay, I really want to take care of
Right.
myself instead of getting to the point where, oh, now I've got to take 18 different medicines and do all of these other
Yes.
things. Yeah.
There's definitely an awakening
Yes.
happening for sure.
That's
Now,
another interview, as you and I have
let's
chatted about.
schedule that one. What would you say is the most challenging part of being a therapist, being a Reiki therapist?
um, I think I think at first it was the recognition that my energy field um, can be can be different and separate from my clients. So I'm an empath, and so I feel things that people are going through very easily and very deeply. Yeah. And so recognizing that, you know, that is theirs and that they're equipped to deal with it, you know, that they're coming to you for Reiki, they're going to others for other types of healing, and this is their journey, and it's not my responsibility to fix it. It's my responsibility to be in service to hold their hand and help them and be part of their journey, as opposed to thinking like, whoa, this is all on me.
Right.
I have to fix this, right?
Right.
So
Being with them versus
being with
fixing it.
them. Yeah, yeah. And so I think that like for a practitioner, that's probably one of the most difficult things, is that maintaining yourself through the treatment of others, and yeah, making sure that you maintain your good energy, like hygiene, I'll call it, and
Yeah.
maintain your good levels of really good energy, and don't give it all to everyone.
100%.
Mhm.
Like as a beginner practitioner, I feel like a lot of the times I just, how do I fix this client? How do I, go above and beyond? But sometimes it's a process, right? Like you can't
It
just
is.
fix it right away. And they
Yes,
have
exactly.
to learn that on their own as well.
Yes,
And with
they
Reiki, it will
do.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And like we said, this is, each person has their own path and their own journey, right? And so as a practitioner, like they're going along, they've decided that they're going to do healing, right? And you're kind of like bumping in to help them as they're starting to elevate. And so you are assisting. You're doing more than you know you are,
Right.
just by being you, just by vibrating at your particular frequency and helping to elevate them, you are helping. And that's been my biggest learning so far, has been that you can't fix anyone. They are the only ones. Like you're
Yeah.
you're responsible for you and you only, right? And so yeah, having to get out of that. So many healers have that fix it mentality, but it's too controlling. We have to move away from it and kind of recognize, like, I've done what I've done for this person,
Right. Yeah.
and now it's their opportunity to go and work on that. And then they'll come back to me and I'll have seen a shift in them.
When they're
And
ready. Yeah.
then yeah, exactly.
I
So
love how you
mhm,
said you just be with them. Like that's huge.
it
I really
is.
love how you said that. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. You're welcome.
So we talked about the most challenging part about being a practitioner. Are there any other healing modalities that are similar to Reiki that are out there right now?
Um, I think that acupuncture and reflexology are very, very similar. Um, I can speak as a reflexologist, and then I've had acupuncture sessions that have like, wow, worked
Yeah.
in, like 2 sessions kind of thing. So I think because Reiki, reflexology, and acupuncture are very much working with your entire energetic system, but it's very much about removing blockages and clearing congestions so that the energy, the chi, the ki, whatever you want to call it, it can move unimpeded through the entire body, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, those three for me are kind of all very similar in terms of the effects and impacts that you feel from them.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of experience with reflexology clients experiencing the same kind of like aha moments and
Mhm.
the same kind of emotional release that can come from Reiki when they have a reflexology session.
That's amazing. And
Mhm.
again, with the somatic release that we just
Yes,
mentioned, I think that's in the same
definitely.
kind of
There's
realm.
also, so there's a new, I've read most of the book. So I started reading the emotion code, and then now I'm reading the body code. And they're really fascinating. So it's a method that deals with tapping into your subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is responsible for our entire being. Like, think about that, you're not thinking about breathing right now. You're not thinking about your eyes blinking. You're not thinking about your liver detoxing your blood and, like every
Right.
single thing that's going on. But your subconscious actually keeps track of every single thing that is off and out of balance in your body. So the body code taps into a practitioner literally just asking your subconscious mind a series of questions that allows them to identify what emotion is stuck, which organ is impacted, all of these things. And then you do a simple release technique, again, through your intention of using a magnet, actually, along the governing meridian and just clearing that emotion, just like clearing whatever needs to be cleared. So, in truth, if I hadn't had success with clearing up my latest bout of fibrocystic breast, I was going to go hunting a body code practitioner down because
That is,
the stuff that I've read is just like mind blowing.
and it's called body code.
The body code, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
Oh, and for those who are watching right now, we do have a Q&A segment at the end of this interview. So if anybody has any question, please stick around.
Yeah.
What would you say, Sabrina, is your favorite thing about Reiki? Now that you've been practicing it for a while.
Yeah. My favorite thing about it is that it just keeps allowing for deeper and deeper understandings of myself. I just keep going to new levels that I I didn't think were there, honestly. It's just like it's a practice that has really brought me home to myself and to a lot of just knowings and truths that are mine. And it might sound kind of wonky or goofy,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just this like inner peace that I've found through Reiki that is indescribable. It's really just makes life a joy.
Yeah. And I can, you know what, even after a long day of working at the hospital, I'll just do a quick self Reiki, and the release that I get from Reiki is very meditative. It's very like, next thing you know, I'm already falling asleep. I woke up and have forgotten about what I went through, kind of thing.
Yes.
So for
Yeah.
me, it's becoming an everyday thing now, and it keeps me at bay.
Yes,
So
exactly. And putting the word meditative in there is so like learning to come to that quiet place inside you where you are connecting just with presence, like with that now moment of because if we think about it, every each now moment we've just created through our choices. And each now moment is the only moment we can ever be in. You can't go into the future. You can't go into the past. There is this. And are you okay now? Yes. If you're not,
yeah,
make a different choice moving forward into that next now moment, right? So it is a practice of presence, which I think is important these days. I think it's more and more important as humanity keeps kind of evolving in consciousness and elevating our consciousness level. For each of us to find inner peace will bring peace to the planet. So, yeah, I
that's a
think
fact.
it's a very important practice.
Yeah, and I love it. Like I'm
Mhm.
hooked. I
Yeah.
was level 2 last year when you attuned me. Was it last
Yes.
year already? So it's
Last
been a year.
year, earlier in the year. Yeah. So it's been like a year and wow, it's been probably like a year and a half.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And now you're in BC now, and
Yes.
are you planning to start your own practice there?
Yeah. So we're in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island, and we literally just got the keys to our new house a few days ago. So we have a clinic space that has its own ground floor entrance that yeah, I'm just looking at paint colors right now. So and excited to open my doors.
So fun.
But I'm very much into um, online courses and doing things by distance too, right? Because I started all of this in Ontario and I know so many people there, made so many great connections. And I want to maintain, like doing things in Ontario by distance, but also setting up a new base here in BC.
Yeah.
And I actually I just did a Reiki course online with somebody back in Ontario a few weeks
Wow.
ago. And it was still such a lovely connection,
Yeah.
right? So, as you know, energy doesn't follow the rules of time and space. So, this is like you and I are connected energetically right now as if
Yeah.
we were right next to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about Reiki, how it's done, what it is. When, say, a client has finished their session, off they
Mhm.
go. What do they expect the next couple of days after Reiki, or weeks even?
So, when you go through your Reiki attunements, you end up having like a full on, like we talked about earlier, like the tuning fork has been hit. You're attuning your body with the vibration of Reiki, and your chakras, then it initiates a chakra cleanse that like sweeps through over the course of 21 days. And for anybody that goes for a Reiki session, it's like a small little attunement each time, right? And so for the 3 weeks following a Reiki session, your chakras are actually just having this tiny little cleanse cycle that runs through them. And the first 7 days deal with like your physical body and things going on in your physical life. The second week is very much around like your social, emotional, community, family level. And then the third is a very spiritual kind of week of stuff and how it relates to your chakra system.
And like
So yeah,
you said, it's a process. Like it's not like you have to.
it's not like boom, yeah, you all of a sudden have all of this like stuff to think about and things. No, typically after a Reiki session, people feel like really relaxed.
Right.
And oftentimes, it's like they'll have the best sleep of their life for the next couple of nights. And then it's just like like a calmer sense of being
Mhm.
for a little while after a Reiki session.
I remember when you attuned me, I was in like a different vibration. It's hard to explain,
Yes.
but it was almost like I was on my own, in my own world, and just loving that like light, gentle energy, and that lasted for weeks actually.
Yes.
But it's really hard to explain. It's very energetically
It is, yeah. Until
cleansing.
you've had the experience of like feeling your own energy body awaken. It's really what it is. Like each time you have Reiki attunements or sessions, it's very much like your energy body is activating until like you go through this process of like starting to feel your body more, and you feel like I can feel my cells, like I can feel the vibration of my entire body. I am completely in my body. A lot of people um don't kind of live in their body. They live in here, and their body is this thing that the brain controls, right? But then energy practices bring you further and further, like grounding into your body. And then there's like this expansion happens as you feel yourself more and feel yourself more as an energetic being.
Wow, that's huge. um, when would they know they're due for Reiki? So let's say they had a session. When when do they what should they feel if they're due for Reiki? Again.
Yeah, I would say so. Say you're normally like a really scatterbrained person. Like there's a lot going on in here, right? I call it monkey brain, where you're like, oh, I got all of these things to do, right? if after your Reiki session you feel like that goes away a little bit, and then it slowly starts creeping back in until you're like, boom, 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 got too much going on in there, that obviously
Yeah.
is a sign. Um, like I said, Reiki is really good for pain. So if you experience a reduction in pain, or like pain goes away from a Reiki session, then I would say as soon as you start to get that inkling, like the pain is starting to return again, that's time to come in for another one. Um, and then if you kind of go from like feeling calm and peaceful and more being than doing, then and then you start that shift back into, like trying to do too much and always doing. It's time to call that energy back into yourself, right? And that's a sign for me that I need Reiki as well. So I would
Perfect.
say those are kind of some of the signs.
Some of the science out
Mhm.
there. Okay. Right now you're in BC, but you're doing distance Reiki as well. Can you
Mhm.
tell our viewers what sort of programs you have now and what you can offer them? What's available to them?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, I'm going to be teaching a Reiki level 1 course. I'm going to do it Saturday, November 18th, and then the next Saturday, November 25th. So, I've kind of changed how I like to teach Reiki. And I like splitting it up a little bit now like this, especially when I'm doing it by distance with people, so that there's my sister and I developed a course like 2 years ago now. So it's called Intuit and Ascend. And it's very much like it's a it's a coaching program to help guide you through the awakening process, like spiritual awakening and ascension, which some people are being hit with like really, really hard. So it goes through like a whole kind of recognition of your chakra system, your energetic body, and you do this whole like self analysis. And so I've taken that part of our course and embedded it into my Reiki
Okay.
1 course. And that's why I like to break it up now into 2 sessions, so that the first is going to be in advance. You're doing that self chakra deep dive. You're coming to that first class with like notes, hopefully journal pages full of, this is where I'm at. These are the things that are stuck with me, all of that kind of stuff. And then from that level of understanding, that's when we go into the Reiki material. So it's a little bit more than how I used to teach it, and kind of like how traditional Reiki 1
Yeah.
level
Hmm.
courses are taught. But I think that it's really going to benefit people and be very valuable to them. So the one that I just ran a couple of weeks ago, I did that with her, and she was just like, this was really good. So it's a lot of content to go through.
And this is
So
available, so November 11th,
no,
you said?
the 18th and the 25th are going to be, so it'll start on the 18th, and then those same people will be with me again on the 25th of November. So I'm doing it on 2 Saturdays.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested, I would say at this point, just contact me. I'm going to have it set up on my bookings page, but I didn't have a chance to get it all ready before now. So yeah, anybody can contact me, like just direct message me through Instagram or wherever, Facebook.
So Instagram is your main social media
Yeah,
platform. Is there any other
I
Facebook
I
or your
I
website?
like Instagram. I don't do a lot of social media. Some of the people on here that are looking, I see they'll be just like nodding. Allie
Yay!
will be like, yeah, Sabrina, computer stuff, what? Technology? I
Yeah.
break technology. So Instagram
That's why
is
Dave is
is my
there.
main thing. Yeah. So I recently just changed up my tag. So I'm at sabrina.lifeinflow.
Oh,
So, and then, yeah, my website is just sabrinahall.ca. But it has information on my Intuit and Ascend course. and also in on my Reiki courses. So
Amazing.
yeah.
And before we conclude our interview today, was there any question from the audience? You can type it in the comment. I'm not sure what the best way is to ask a
Mhm.
question.
I know. I'm seeing things, but
Or you can also personally message me or Sabrina
yeah,
if you
exactly.
have any question. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank you.
today. I know we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's so awesome that you're getting going with it. I've
Yeah,
loved watching your journey and,
yeah,
like thinking back to when, like when you first came to see me for Reiki, you
yeah,
were really stressed.
yeah.
Like, yeah, huge life transitions have been going for you, and you're just elegantly walking your path now and figuring stuff out, and it's
Still,
all
still figuring
happening.
stuff out, but
Absolutely. But it's all
yes,
happening in its own time, right? And if like think back to a couple of years ago when you first came to see me,
yeah,
and you're making it happen. You are really manifesting your
yeah.
reality. So
No, and
mhm.
I hope it continues. And thank you so much for your guidance.
You're
Sabrina
welcome.
Hall, what is my Reiki master and my Reiki teacher. So I'm hoping I will go to BC to get my Reiki master with you,
Yes,
hopefully.
that would be
And yes,
amazing.
it's just an excuse to go to BC, but no, I really do. I really do want to get my master with my Reiki.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, I would love to have you as my student again.
Thank you so much. And again, if anybody has any question, please message me or Sabrina. She's available to answer any question. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining. All right.
absolutely. Mwah.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.